Hey everyone, my name is Christy. Welcome to my corner. Thanks for joining me today for Flossmas number 14. It is December 14th, 2022, and it is the afternoon. I have no coffee. I got new glasses, although I don't know that they translate so great to camera, and there's all sorts of glare happening. So let me switch them to my normal glasses, and we can get started. This is a daily video series for the month of December where I open up a tiny present from the Forbidden Fiber Co. Advent Calendar. I show you my stitching and pick a random craft art project that I have in a jar over here and do that for the day, show you what I did the day before. I have a giveaway. I talk about sort of things. Yes, that's what we're going to do today. It's late right now. It is almost 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It is pouring rain. It's been raining all day, and I had to drive about an hour away to get my car serviced. I go to Tuscaloosa, Alabama to get my car serviced. That's where I got my car, and so I got like free service for 2 or 3 years. And then I just kept going because it got me out of town, and they had records, you know, they knew what my car needed and stuff like that. So when I made this appointment, I did not realize that it would be torrential downpour. It was not a fun drive, let me tell you. But anyway, that's not why you're here. You are here for tiny presents or for stitching content or for random craft content. So I don't have stitching I can show you because I was stitching on my model stitch yesterday, but I do have a tiny present and I do have an experiment from yesterday. So let's do our tiny present first. And it is an even day, so it is a floss and pattern day. And as I said, this is the Forbidden Fiber Co. Advent Calendar. Ooh, that's pretty. And the color for today is called Coach. It's showing up. No, I guess that's pretty good. It's not quite as tealy. It's a little bit greener than you are seeing. But that's a good color. Let's see where it is on the pattern. So it looks like it is accent colors on the side, like on the front of the train pattern. And that's great. So that's day 14, a really pretty color. Now let's talk about Experimadvent, #Experimadvent. And this is where I choose a tiny, it's not tiny, everything's tiny. I choose a pattern from this jar, not a pattern either. Let's see if I can get this right. I choose a project from this jar. I'm calling it the Jar of Possibilities project. I put, I don't know, maybe 30 projects in here. Things that I had just sort of wanted to try or that I needed to do. And I figured I would just work on them for an hour a day. Now, I've been generally working on them for longer than an hour a day because either I've been really enjoying them or an hour wasn't enough time to for anything to happen. So yesterday's Experimadvent was card weaving, which in the UK is called tablet weaving. And I had this video. I got this from the Woolery. I got a whole kit from the Woolery. So it came with a video. It came with a shuttle, some cards. And these are just square cards with 4 holes punched in them. I got 25 cards. And then red, white, and blue. That's almost purple, but it's more blue than purple. This is warp thread, cotton warp thread. And so I watched the video. I watched part of the video. It is literally a DVD version of a VHS tape from 1985. So funny. So funny. But anyway, it was really helpful. And it basically taught me the beginnings of card weaving. And card weaving is makes bands. It makes sort of thin, long bands. And I designed my own pattern. So this is the pattern that I designed. Like that. This is what I came up with. So I made a band. It's, I don't know, about a foot. 13 inches. But, and I didn't, I kind of went back and forth just to see what pattern came out of it. So this is kind of going one way and then going the other way and then going back and forth. And then I did sort of I kind of went, I did all sorts of crazy things, and I came up with a little beetle. And then I went back and forth and made diamonds again. And then I tried to make that beetle again, and it didn't quite work, but it's kind of beetle-like. And then it was the end. So this is what I made, and I don't know, it would make a nice bracelet. I wish that I had different colors than red, white, and blue. I'm not patriotic in any way, and so red, white, and blue doesn't fit my aesthetic. But I don't know. It would make a cute headband, too. Oh, it actually would make a really cute headband. I might turn this into a headband. A very weird headband with beetles. So this is what I made. And I said that I would do a little bit of research on the history of tablet weaving because it's a really old form of weaving. And I did. While I was waiting for my card to be serviced, I did some research. And so I want to share my research with you. Now, a lot of this I got from Sheila Lewin's website, which I'll link down below. I'll put her name here. Sheila Lewin's had all sorts of information about tablet weaving, and in particular about the Augsburg ships, which I'll talk about in a bit. But tablet weaving, which is what they call it in the UK, or card weaving, which is what they call it in the US, has been around for thousands of years. There is evidence of it in ancient Egypt, but that is apparently disputed. There has been some kind of studying of the woven band that they thought was tablet weaving, and it doesn't look like it is tablet weaving, because tablet weaving does a very specific kind of weave, essentially. So that may or may not be, but it's definitely primarily in Europe, and it traveled from Europe to Egypt, the Middle East, and North Africa, and possibly India, like afterwards. It is still used as a form of weaving in places like Pakistan. And the earliest physical evidence for card weaving comes from a bone tablet, a square bone tablet found in Germany with 4 holes in the corners from about 3,000 years ago. There are other tablets made out of wood and bone from Italy that are dated a little bit later, so a little closer to us, but around the same time. And the tablets that they found are smaller than the ones I have here. So the ones I have here are about 2 inches square, and the ones that they found are about 1 to 1.5 inches square. There is evidence of tablet weaving in the Roman Empire. There have been some tablets excavated in London, and one of these tablets was 1 millimeter thick. It was just this like tiny piece of polished bone. And it's also mentioned in Roman writing. So Pliny the Elder, who wrote a book on natural history, and he famously died in the eruption of Pompeii. He described the Gauls, who were in modern France, as weaving with sculptula. I'll put that right here, which are little shields. And then it's also mentioned in a couple other things. And Edward the Confessor, who was the King of England, who died in 1066, and he died childless. And so his death is what kind of sparked what eventually became the Norman conquest of England. His wife was known to be very good with textiles, and in particular with tablets. So, and it's discussed in other places too, also in like Norse mythology and also in Norse sagas. The earliest bands that are made from card weaving were utilitarian, and they were basically used as starting points for other larger textile weaving. So they would use a weighted warp loom, and this would be at the top to help start the fabric going. But then, of course, they realized that they could make really amazing patterns and stuff in them. And then they were used as decoration, either directly onto fabric or applied onto sort of the trimmings and stuff like that. And you see them a lot in like ecclesiastical garments. We do have the tablet. We do have tablets and woven bands from medieval Europe, but the most amazing find, that I think anyway, comes from the Augsburg burial in Norway. So the Viking Ship Museum in Oslo, Norway, has a burial ship called the Augsburg ship. And in 834, 2 women were buried in this ship with a bunch of grave goods. And it had like precious metals and stuff like that, but that all was stolen pretty quickly. And what they found in a locked wooden box were a bunch of textiles and weaving tools. The ship was excavated in 1904. They found 52 tablets, 52 weaving tablets that were still attached to the woven band. And they found roughly 50 fragments of tablet woven bands in the burial site. And tablet weaving in Europe anyway went up through like the 17th, 18th century. It is a pretty, not that it's an easy form of weaving, but it is a low cost and room form of weaving, because anyone who's seen clothing loom, like cloth looms as opposed to tapestry looms, like a heddle loom, a rigid heddle loom or stuff like that, or even a weighted warp loom, they take up a lot of space and they have a lot of cost. Whereas for tablet weaving, you don't actually need a lot of equipment. And I have some pictures of me weaving this. I tied one end of this to a table leg and I tied the other end to a belt. I was wearing a belt. And so I tied it to my belt. Here's a picture of that. And yeah, it was a really fun experience. And I'm kind of excited. This might be my next obsession, which is fine because I have a ton of threads and all sorts of different things. And it doesn't have to be a super tight band. You can actually weave looser kind of straps, looser things with wool. But wool's pretty strong, so you can also, you can use the wool also, which is good because I have a lot of yarn. And this is the kind of thing that would be really good for yarn, using up my yarn. Anyway, tablet weaving, ancient, fits with my MO of historical projects, something that I could easily do with my students or in a workshop or something. So that may be my next workshop, is to do tablet weaving, and that's fun. I'll just have to play around with it some more. Anyway, that was my experiment from yesterday. I made a strap, which could also be a wristlet strap. Anyway, I'm pretty pleased with this. I'm pretty pleased. But that means it's time to see what I'm doing this evening, since it's already late now. I hope it doesn't take too long. And I'm sorry about my voice. I sing in the car. So when I'm driving and I have music on, I sing in the car. And so I've basically been singing like at the top of my lungs for like an hour. I have rediscovered my love of the Indigo Girls. And so I've been like singing and listening to the Indigo Girls, and it's been great. Yes! This is what I've been waiting for. This is super quick. Adjust belts. And I'll put some pictures up here. I have 4 belts, 2 of which just need another hole punched in them. So that'll be super quick. So these 2 just need a hole punched in them. This one, I'm replacing the belt with a longer belt because this belt is a little bit too small for me. But how much do you love the safety pin on that? Love it. And then I have this belt, which is too big. And so I need to cut that off. And that's just velvet, so it just needs to be sewn. And I can just hand sew that tonight. So this is a great, easy project. I was hoping that I would get this one soon. Adjust belts. Fantastic. And I have a leather punch, so it'll be really easy to fix those first 2. Okay, good. That's something I can accomplish today. And then I think last but not least is it's a gift day, and it is an even day. So it's either a tree or a scissors fob. Today's going to be a little flocked green tree. And if you want to win this green tree, just put the word thread in the comments down below. Please be a subscriber. Please like the video. You must be 18 so I can legally get your address. Please don't say giveaway, free, etc. And if it gets lost in the mail, it doesn't have any monetary value, but I will ship anywhere in the world, but I won't replace it if it gets lost. So that's for today. It's just kind of a classic green tree with a little flocking. I will do the drawing for all of my giveaways for Flossmas after Christmas in my last floss tube of the year, and I will ship them out sometime in the new year when I get the chance. I mean, you know, they'll be out hopefully by February. That's the plan. My first floss tube after Christmas, my last floss tube of the year, is going to be long. All right, friends, that's it from me. Thanks for joining me today. And I'm going to go cuddle my puppy who has been having to deal with thunder and rain all day. So I hope you have a good day and do the crafting and stitching that bring you joy. I will talk to you tomorrow. Please take good care of yourselves and have a good one. Bye.